You clicked on this video because you are tired of being tired and wondering if something else might be going on. You're in the right place. We usually think of iron deficiency as just fatigue, but I found out there's so much more to it. I noticed a few of these things in myself, and once I started paying attention, it made a lot of sense. There's one sign in particular that finally explained why I had been feeling off. I'll share that with you a bit later. So what exactly is iron deficiency and why does it matter so much? Let's break it down. Iron is what your body uses to make hemoglobin. That's the part of your red blood cells that carries oxygen around. If you don't have enough iron, you don't make enough hemoglobin. And if you don't have enough hemoglobin, your body can't move oxygen properly. That's why you end up feeling weak or out of breath. Your body is basically running low on fuel. It's also more common than most people think. In fact, worldwide, almost a third of women deal with some level of anemia. That's huge. A lot of it comes from periods, pregnancy, or childbirth, which can all deplete iron pretty quickly. Now, vegetarians and vegans run into it too, since plant-based iron isn't absorbed as easily. Studies show that up to 25% of vegetarians have low iron at some point. And even athletes get impacted as intense training, sweating, and recovery use up iron faster than you'd think. Research shows that over a third of female athletes have iron deficiency without even realizing it. The tricky part is it creeps up slowly. If you don't notice it early, it can drag on for months or even years. And longer it goes, the worse you feel. That's why knowing these small signs is so useful. Some of the first hints actually show up in the mirror, for which we have eyelid check. If you pull down your lower eyelid, the inside should look pink. If it's pale, almost white, that can be a sign that iron is low. If it's pale or almost white, that can be a sign your iron is low. Another one is your tongue. If it looks pale or feels sore for no clear reason, that can be linked to iron too. And then you have your nails and hair. Nails can crack easily, or hair that seem to be falling out more than usual on your pillow, in the shower, or on your brush can also be clues. Your body needs iron to get oxygen and nutrients everywhere, including your hair and nails. So if you have noticed pale eyelids, a sore tongue, or weak nails and hair, it might not just be stress or age. It could be your body hinting at something deeper. Now, next set of signs are body performance related. These are the signs you feel day to day. One of the most common one is getting out of breath too easily. Maybe it's just walking upstairs or carrying bags, and suddenly you are breathing harder than you should. That happens because your blood isn't carrying enough oxygen. You might also notice your heart racing even when you are resting. That's your heart working overtime, trying to push oxygen around. There are also the headaches and dizzy spells. Your brain needs a lot of oxygen, so when it doesn't get enough, you end up feeling lightheaded or headaches that don't seem to have a cause. And finally, cold hands and feet. Your body makes sure important organs get oxygen first, so your fingers and toes are last in line. That's why some people with low iron always feel cold, even when everyone else is fine. Now, next set of signs are a little bit strange and unexpected. The first one is odd cravings. There's even a name for it, pica. It's when people crave things like ice, dirt, or starch. It sounds strange, but it's actually linked to low iron. And then we have brain fog, forgetting little things, struggling to focus, or just feeling mentally slower. Again, that's because your brain isn't getting the oxygen it needs. The problem is these things are easy to brush off. Chewing ice, people think it's just a quirk. Trouble focusing, it can be stress or lack of sleep. But when you put them together, it starts to tell a very different story. Next set of signs are emotion related. as low iron can affect your mood. It can make you more irritable or snappy, even over little things. It's not that you have suddenly become grumpy, it's that your brain isn't working with enough oxygen. You can also feel tired all the time and lose motivation. This is often mistaken for laziness, but it's really your body running out of fuel. Your brain uses a huge amount of oxygen. When iron is low, oxygen delivery drops and your brain slows down. That's why you end up with mood swings, brain fog, or just feeling flat. So if you have been calling yourself lazy or unmotivated, it might not be about the willpower at all. It could be your body trying to get your attention. Now, some of this might sound familiar, but remember, symptoms alone don't prove you have iron deficiency. The only way to know is through a blood test. If this feels like it might be you, see your doctor. They can check your levels and tell you exactly what's going on. If your iron is low, here are a few steps people usually start with. First, focus on food. Build meals with iron-rich foods like beef, chicken, dark greens like spinach or kale, beans, lentils, dried fruits, and cereals or breads with added iron. Add vitamin C. A squeeze of lemon, some tomatoes, or a glass of orange juice can help your body absorb much more iron. Next, avoid the blockers. Coffee, tea, and dairy can get in the way. You don't have to give them up. Just don't have them right at the same time as your iron-rich meals. Add supplements. Sometimes food alone isn't enough. If your doctor recommends iron tablets, take them as directed. They usually work best with vitamin C or without coffee or dairy. Some people get side effects like constipation. If that happens, don't just stop. Ask your doctor because there are other forms and liquid options that might suit you better. The key is don't guess and don't try to treat it on your own. Working with a professional makes all the difference. Earlier I mentioned there was one sign that finally made it all click for me. In my case, it wasn't cravings, it was something much harder to ignore. I started getting out of breath during normal walks, which had never happened before. And on top of that, by the end of the day, I'd often feel moody and cranky for no reason, just because I was so wiped out. At first, I told myself it would go away on its own. But then one day I felt dizzy, lost my balance, and actually collapsed in the bathroom. That was my wake-up call. I had to rush to the doctor, and that's when I found out what was really going on. Please don't wait for something like that to happen to you. It can be dangerous. If you notice these kind of changes in your body, get it checked. Catching it early makes all the difference. The good news is once I figured out what was wrong and got treatment, things really turn around. And that's why I'm sharing this. Iron deficiency is common, and it's also something you can fix once you know about it. If you have had any of these signs yourself, share them in the comments. Your experience might help someone else. And if this video helped you, hit subscribe. And just a quick reminder, I'm not a doctor, I'm just sharing what I went through. If you think you might be low on iron, please get it checked by a professional. It's a simple test and it can save you from a lot of trouble down the line. Thank you for watching.